Hey guys, today we're here and reviewing these. The 2021 Lexus ES300H and the 2021 Lexus IS300H. So guys, today we are comparing Lexus's two iconic sedans. We've got the ES and we got the IS, and we're going to see which one should you buy for your money if you're after a hybrid Lexus sedan. So both cars here are in their most updated form. That's the 2021 ES300H and that's the 2021 IS300H, and they're both in the luxury models, so they're both the entry grade levels. The ES is actually optional with what we call an enhancement pack here in Australia, so it's got about 5 or 6 options as a package which comes with it. But we're not going to talk about them because I really want to compare these cars in their most natural form. And mind you, these options are stuff like cameras and just 1 inch bigger wheels. The car itself stays the same, so all these options we can't even really see. But because there is such a close price difference between them, we're talking $2,000 price difference from brand new. And it might shock you because it surprised me that the ES is actually cheaper out of the two. The ES has always been more expensive, but now it's come to a point where it's cheaper than the IS. And we're going to see which one should you buy. Is it a close comparison or is it a big difference? Because even though they're both sedans, they're both pretty different. Like the ES is a much bigger car than the IS. The IS is a rear-wheel drive, the ES is a front-wheel drive, and there's a lot of other nuances that go into them. So thank you so much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe because we have some awesome videos coming up this year. And guys, as always, let's just get straight into it. Let's start off with the outside, and what's awesome is these are the exact same color, and it is a gorgeous color. It's called the titanium silver here in Australia, and I think in the States they call it Arctic silver. But from the outside you can see straight away that the IS is a lot smaller than the ES, and it's about 28 centimeters smaller, which, you know what, is almost a foot shorter than the ES. And you can't tell so much from the boot space because the boot space itself is actually very comparable. But when you sit in the back seats, which we will do, it is very noticeable. But anyways, from the outside, the IS and the ES have very much the same features. So at the front, they both have your LED daytime running lights with LED headlamps, this nice big grille with the Lexus emblem being a radar cruise control. And what's awesome is that the Lexus symbol has this nice blue sort of like hologram around it, indicating that it is a hybrid. Now the grills are a little bit different, so you can see the lines pointing straight down in the ES, and then this one here has now become a mesh, even though that is not the F Sport. Now coming off to the side, the IS comes with 18-inch wheels standard, whereas the ES comes with 17-inch wheels, and it has some very nice curves and very nice lines on the IS. And at the back it's got this nice one-piece tail light, which looks absolutely awesome. And something I do really appreciate on the IS, even though it's a hybrid, they've still got dual exhaust tips. Because if you notice on any other Lexus hybrid, such as the ES, they do not come with exhaust tips, and actually they just hide them. Now with the boot in the IS is 450 liters, whereas with the ES boot is 473 liters, which isn't a big difference considering how much bigger the ES actually is. Now if we look at the ES from the back, it doesn't have the single LED strip which the IS does, but does have these real nice LEDs there. Looks like a backwards L on that side, and that side there obviously looks like an L, but it looks real smart, real sleek. And if you've watched my comprehensive review on the ES, you'll know that I actually really appreciate the ES styling. It looks so different from the rest. But anyways, coming to the side, this one here has the 18-inch wheels option. As I mentioned, this is an upgraded edition, but visibly you won't be able to see many differences, if at all, because that is only the visual upgrade for this option. Now from the side it looks real sleek, real nice, and yeah, Now, before we jump in, both cars have keyless entry and keyless close and keyless start. This is the ES300H, and if you've seen a Lexus IS in the last 7 years, you're gonna say this brand new model looks very much the same, and you're not gonna be wrong. They have made some minor improvements to it, yet it's kept much the same. And look, I'm a big believer that it looks fantastic regardless. Yes, there are some changes that they could have done a little bit more out there, such as the interior for the air conditioning. However, they have introduced a touchscreen now as well, so it is much more user friendly, and also has Lexus's famous trackpad as well. So I actually don't mind it, and we'll go into a little bit of detail afterwards about it. Now, the ES300H has all the safety features. We'll go through that when we're driving the car. But in terms of interior features, it does have fully electric driver and passenger seats. And these seats here, these, as leather-like as they look, are not leather. This is what Lexus calls the New Lux leather. It's sort of like a fake leather. Yes, Lexus has taken that route. But other than that, let's have a look at the back seats, because this is where it's going to be the biggest difference between the IS and the ES. And straight away you can see it's not the biggest on the inside, and that seat is where I would normally have it. So let's have a jump in, and you can't see this, but because this is black and my hair is dark and I'm not bald, not yet, close. But have a look at my okay, if I sit up straight like I am now, which is sort of made to in these back seats, that is how much headroom there is. And I'm not tall, I'm 5'11", and that's it. Like, that's it. And in terms of leg room, it doesn't get too much better. There's adequate space, probably 3 or 4 inches there, but headroom wise, it is very much like that hits it. Like if I put my head back, that hits it, and it's very much this sloping this sloping roof lining, which makes the car look very sporty. However, it's not very comfortable in the back. And if you would sit in the middle, that's impossible. That someone, I am short, I am not tall, but this is impossible. And the only way you can sit with your head on the seat rest is unconventionally, and I don't think your passengers are gonna like that. So if you're buying this for a family of 5 and your young 3 ones are rather tall, the ES is where it's at. Because now I'm sitting in the back of the ES in the middle, and look at that! I don't have a lot of headroom, but I have headroom. Like that's good. Thank goodness for that. And I have a microphone here for whatever reason, but look at that, I'm sitting in the back of the middle and I have plenty of room. And now if I sit on the outside edge, oh, this is luxury. This is nice. Again, there's not a lot of headroom. There's probably about 1 inch of headroom there. Still ample space for most adults, but legroom, this is where the legroom is at. Look how much legroom I have. Look at that. It's like, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. And the best thing about it is, because it's not a rear wheel drive, the hump in the center is really small, whereas in the IS it really protruded out and it was not bearable. Now, since we're already in the back seats, we do have 2.1 amp chargers, still regular USB ports there, but also a cigarette lighter charger as well, and plenty of room for 3 adults in the car, and that makes all the difference. Now let's have a look at the front. And what I love most about the ES is its design is so different to every other Lexus model there is. It's so sleek, it's so out there, And that screen in the middle there, that is huge. That's 12 inches of pure goodness. You can see the air conditioning controls. Still all buttons, thankfully, all buttons. But really sleek, real nice design there in the middle. All of our controls there, down there. Now, for those who are paying attention, you can see this one's got ventilated seats, but that is not standard on the luxury. But we'll go through that in a little bit. We have our cup holder and our USB charger there, and of course our touchpad there for our screen in front of us. Now, unlike the IS, this screen here is not touchscreen. Now, in the luxury edition, you do get these nice seats, and they're still not leather. They're still called the New Lux, but they are perforated. So that does make a difference in the summer, especially here in Australia. I'm not sure if you see my shiny forehead, but it is absolutely wickedly hot. Now, the steering wheel in the ES is also different. Now, these wood trims are also part of the package. Otherwise, you do get a normal, nice leather steering wheel. And the best part about it is your display now is fully digital. No more conventional dials like the IS. And also, a little bonus is that there, if you can see it, is a projection, and they call that the heads-up display. So you can actually see your speed in front of you on your windshield. That's pretty awesome. Now, another feature which the ES comes with standard is a very nice sunroof, which is an adequate size. It's obviously not a panoramic roof. Here in Australia, we can't get them, unfortunately. Only a single sunroof. But that's real nice, real cool, especially as a standard feature. And also, like that heads-up display, which comes up there, that's also a standard feature. So the car comes with a lot more standard features. And of course, the driver and passenger seats are fully electric as well. So what's interesting is how comparable these cars are in their most natural forms. So guys, we've had a run through of both the outsides of the car and the insides of the car. So now we're going to take them for a drive, because even though the features of the cars are much the same, the price is much the same, they both drive really differently. So we're going to see which one should you buy for your money. Should you go for the IS over the ES, or the ES over the IS? And it's really going to come down to what you prefer in how you drive. So now we are driving the LEXUS IS300H, and it is a surprisingly comfortable drive for a small compact sedan. It's nice and smooth on the road. It handles rather nicely, and we'll find a nice corner or two and we'll see how it feels around the corner. But otherwise, it is quite the nice car. It being a compact sedan, it is a little bit smaller in here than it does in the IS, but otherwise it's a nice feel. You know, everything's close to your hand, and you don't have to go searching about too far to find any extra buttons which you might need to use. So let's talk about the engine and this one, because even though they are both a 2.5 liter engine, they have different hybrid technologies. So the ES has a brand new, well, not brand new, it's been out for 2 years now, but a new hybrid technology. It's a new generation of hybrid technologies as well. So it is actually more fuel efficient, and it is sublime on the hybrid technologies. It is so smooth, the ES. I am a big fan of the ES, as I am with the IS, but as you probably already know, if you've been watching my videos, I love the IS350 because in a sports compact sedan such as this one here, it's nice. It's nice. But anyways, what powers the IS300H is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine with hybrid technologies. It produces a combined power output of 164 kilowatts with 105 kilowatts from the electric engine and 300 newton meters of torque, and 133 kilowatts from the petrol engine and 221 newton meters of torque. And all these numbers sound fantastic. They all sound very big, very great, but it is a very slow car. 0 to 100 in 8.5 seconds. Yes, you heard me right. 0 to 100 in 8.5 seconds. So it's it's slow. It's slow. And look, mind you, you're buying a hybrid for its fuel saving technologies, so you're not buying it for speed. But surely it could have been a little bit faster. So now that we know how powerful this car is, or isn't, let's talk about its driveline. So in the IS, it's actually a rear-wheel drive car. So that makes it more sportier. You know, and when you go around the corner, and if you go a little bit harder like this, oh, it's so slow out the corner. But in terms of handling, it handles more like a sports car than it does a regular sedan. And to demonstrate it, we're here on this corner, and we're going to take off. We're going to do a little 0 to 60 test. Foot hard down. It's not bad. It's not bad. And here's the thing, it progresses nice and comfortably. So it really just gradually takes off. There's no push you back in your seat feeling or sensation like in most cars or in turbo cars or in a nice big V6 engine. It's just gradual. And that has to do with its driveline. So it actually is run by a CVT gearbox. Now, to the average person like myself, that doesn't mean much, but just to quickly touch on it, there's no gears in this car. So traditional car will go from gear 1, gear 2, gear 3, gear 4, gear 5, gear 6. Some cars have 10 gears. A CVT runs a little bit differently, and really these gearboxes are built for fuel efficiency. So they're never really hard revving, and that's why you don't get that power that you want out of a car. It's just relaxed. It's gradual. It's a nice car to drive, and even though it is that sports sedan, you can fling it in and out of corners. You know, like if you're testing its handling, it's decent. You know, it grips on the road very well. The steering is a little bit, it's not as direct as you might expect it to be, but it's just a comfortable sedan car. So let's have a chat about all the standard safety equipment in the IS range, because it comes with a lot. Blind spot monitors, that little orange light there tells you when someone's in your blind spot. Adaptive cruise control is cruise control, but with a radar at the front of the car, which makes you slow down if the person in front of you slows down, and speed up if you speed up to your speed limit. It's got pre-collision warning safety, which means that if you're going too fast to the car in front of you, the car's going to turn off all the radio, all the music, and it's going to go beep, 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 you're going too fast. Now, let's say you don't brake. It's got autonomous braking as well. It's got lane assist. It's got lane centering control, lane trace assist, and lane departure warning. What it means is, if you're coming out of the lane and you're just veering out the lane, just slowly, it'll pull you back in. It'll literally pull you back in. It'll auto-correct and then keep you in the center of the lane. At the same time, it's going to vibrate the wheel to let you know that, hey, you're coming out of the lane. Now, lane trace assist is a little bit different, because if your cruise control is on, and here we go, let's set it on for 60 k's an hour. That's the that's the steering wheel keeping me literally in the center of the lane. That's literally the steering taking control. Obviously, do not drive with your hands off the wheel. But look at this. It's literally turning for me. Look at that. Oh, it's it's an awesome feature. Now, It's not a feature which you rely on. You don't just sit there and go, hey, let's read a book. No, you didn't just know. But it's a great safety feature. Another safety feature the car has, yes, we're not through, is the electric safety handbrake. So that means that anytime you put the car into drive, the handbrake turns off. Anytime you put the car into park, the handbrake turns on. And with that comes the auto hold feature, which is this button down here. And essentially what it means is, if your car is stopped, if you've come to a complete stop, and auto hold is on, you can let go of the brake and the car will literally hold itself. Let's say the light goes green, you tap the accelerator and the car releases and then you go. It's an awesome safety feature. It's a rear cross traffic alert. And essentially what that means is, if you're reversing out of a spot and someone is coming out perpendicular towards you, it's gonna beep and let you know that, hey, cars are coming, do not reverse out of the spot. Awesome safety feature, because not everyone likes to reverse park. A lot of people just go nose in, and when they're reversing, they can never see who's driving, and they just go, oh yeah, I'll go. And then, this is a safety feature everyone needs. Well, to those that don't reverse park anyway. So that's all the safety features in the car. Let's have a quick chat with all the standard luxury equipment. Your touchscreen 10-inch display, 10.3 to be exact, is nice and standard. Dual zone climate controls, automatic headlights, automatic wipers, that's all standard. Voice control is standard, and it'll even understand where you want to go. It's got your different driving modes as well: comfort, normal, sport, depending on how you feel like on the day. Heated seats as well, which here in Australia is the last thing you need. I am absolutely sweating here, and that brings me to the annoyances I have with the IS. And one of them is this new luxe leather, fake leather trim. It's nice, it's soft, it's comfortable, it's really supportive, but dang does it get hot. And I know in most countries this will not be a problem, or even down south in Australia, but here in Gold Coast it is really warm. And that's where the ES is actually really good, because even though the ES has the same fake leather, it's not the fake leather which is the problem. It's the fact that there's no breathing. Like, the ES comes with perforations, which means that it still lets you breathe. So even though it's a fake leather, it lets you breathe and you don't sweat like I am right now. I've got a pool of water on the bottom here. Anyways, it's loud. when you're trying to, you know, get that power going, it gets rather loud. But it does have that sporty nature to it, where you go into a corner, woo, you can even get a little bit slippery too. That's that rear wheel drive coming into its own, but it's got a nice grip to it, nice feel, you know. Let's do a U-turn, let's see how it handles on doing a U-turn. Very tight, very tight. It has that very IS feel to it, even though it's a hybrid, and even though it's heavier because of all the batteries, it's still kept its IS nature. And that's the best part about it, is it's not a ES300H disguised as an IS. No, it still feels like an IS, still goes around the corner nicely, and yes, it lacks the performance, but it's got that sports nature to it. Anyways, let's jump in the ES and let's see how that feels. So now we are driving the ES300H, and the best way to describe the ES is a gentleman's cruiser. Or a lady's cruiser, doesn't matter. It's just refined, it's smooth, it's quiet, it's got very well insulated cabin, and it just becomes an overall softer drive than the IS. And here's the thing, you find yourself, well, I find myself driving it a lot smoother, a lot softer. Unlike in the IS where, you know, because it's got this little sporty nature to it, you sort of want to fling it in the corner and fling it back out and drive it a little bit more sportier. In the ES, you want to do the opposite. It's soft, it's smooth, it's silent. And yes, so is the IS, but we mentioned earlier that the IS still has the previous generation hybrid technologies. And yes, it doesn't make any sense. The IS is brand new, it's just come out a month ago, and it's got the previous hybrid technologies. Yes, yes, that's because the new IS was not a total redesign, whereas when they created the ES 2 years ago, it was a total redesign which allowed them to put in the latest hybrid technologies. So what do the new hybrid technologies mean? And Serg, do not tell us about the voltage and the amperage, because I don't even understand all that. What I do understand is that this car can drive in electric mode at 100 kilometers per hour. Yes, 100 kilometers per hour. Like I'm doing 57 k's per hour, 58, and it's still in electric mode. That means that I'm using zero petrol while driving. Whereas the IS only goes up to 50 kilometers per hour in electric mode, and then it switches into petrol. And that makes a massive difference in not only how it feels when you're driving, because obviously when you're in electric mode, it's going to be a little bit smoother, but also the fuel rating. And that makes this ES, which is a bigger, slightly heavier car, more fuel efficient than the IS. Yes, that's right. It's more fuel efficient than the IS. Now, it's got the same 2.5 liter engine that the IS has, produces a little bit less power, 2 kilowatts. So there's 131 kilowatts, and this one has 221 newton meters of torque. But the electric power is where it's a little bit different. This has only 88 kilowatts of power coming out of the electrics and 202 newton meters of torque, which is a little bit less than the IS, which means that 0 to 100 in this car is a whopping 8.9 seconds. Yes, 8.9 seconds. We laughed about it in the IS, we laugh about it in here. It's a slow car. So if you're expecting to buy a Lexus hybrid car and expect it to be quick, or a Lexus sedan hybrid car, it's not going to be. What it is going to be is fuel efficient, because this car here is 4.8 liters per 100 k's. That's mind-boggling. The ES is just so smooth, it's so refined, it's so comfortable. And remember that we did the little sway test in the IS? Oh, you I almost flew out my seat. Yeah, so yeah, did not go around the corner in the ES hoping that's gonna give you some sports feeling to it, because it's not. So let's test out the ES300H. 0 to 60, foot hard down, let's go. Oh, it's slow. It's slow. But what do we expect? It's a cruiser. It's a luxury automobile with hybrid technologies. It's a very smooth acceleration though. And did you notice, unlike the IS, it was a lot quieter? That takeoff? And that's what I mean by well insulated. The car is a lot better insulated than the IS. And that's because the pedigree of the ES is to be elegant. It's to be smooth, it's to be comfortable. And that's exactly the feeling you get. Now, quick run through all the safety features. It's the same as the IS. It's got the exact same features in terms of safety features as the IS. So that was quick. Let's run through all the standard equipment, and we'll keep it nice and simple. Everything the IS has, the ES has as standard. Yes, literally everything the IS has, the ES has. However, the ES comes with a few more features. So let's talk about those. We have a sunroof, standard in the ES, doesn't matter which option you get. It's also got the heads-up display, which is a little projection onto your windscreen telling you how fast you're going and other various bits of information. Another feature that the ES gets as standard is a wireless phone charger, and also a nice big 12-inch screen. So a few differences, and mind you, the ES is actually cheaper out of the two. I'm talking Australian money now, 68.5 grand, and the IS is 70.5 grand. But this has more equipment. Just to put in perspective, if you were to get the IS with a sunroof, you're now spending around 73 grand, which makes it a 4.5 grand difference. Which begs the question, why is the IS more expensive? And is it worth it? I don't know. I really don't know. Now guys, that is a wrap on the 2021 ES300H and the IS300H. Really hope you enjoyed that one, guys. And now let's answer the question that we started off with. Which one should you buy? Now, I've really tried to narrow it down. If you're after something sporty, something dynamic, but yet still smooth and comfortable for everyday driving, the IS300H. Because that there is, it's got its sports pedigree, and they've refined it very much. And even though it does get a little bit louder when you're pushing it harder, it's still a very nimble car. However, if you want the opposite, if you're after something smooth and something comfortable and something that can sit 5 people easily, and I mean 5 adults easily, definitely the ES300H, because that one there is, well, ES stands for elegant sedan, elegant saloon, one of them. So it's built to be more elegant. It's softer, it's quieter, it's more insulated in the cabin, and it's being a longer car, it absorbs a lot of the bumps even nicer. So anyways guys, hope you enjoyed that one. Hope that helped you decide which one you should go for, and definitely test drive them and see how they feel, and make sure to write down in the comments which one you prefer. But anyways guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you on next time. These seats are nice. Yes, if you take a corner too hard, you'll fly out the window, but it's not built for that.